Welcome to Classic Game Room, where we're in the final hours of the Best of Classic Game Room Kickstarter. We've surpassed just about every stretch goal. There's a couple more out there waiting to be unlocked, like the signed mini posters. But the film will be available as a 2-DVD set, Blu-ray, and a massive laser hyper-vision album set, which contains both CGR films and all of the discs. There's lots of behind-the-scenes footage. I'm recording the commentary now, and Dave from the original Classic Game Room series was interviewed for the film, so let's check out some of the new footage. He did the out-of-sync voice dialogue extremely well. Can you still do that?
Yes.
I can. He's really good at that. That was like the best part of that review. I can't do it.
I agree that it was very talented for us to do that.
And every time we get a donation in from a fan around the world or from another planet, they go up onto the map. And there's still many, many pins waiting to go up there. So as you can see, we've got some pretty good global coverage now. Complete intergalactic domination is in sight. If I don't know where you're from, I'm assuming you're from Atlantis, which is right there. I've discovered Atlantis. We were within weeks of doing a Shenmue review in 2000 for the Sega Dreamcast because you bought the game whenever it came out that summer or whatever, and you were playing it, and I walked into the office at one point and saw you playing the footage into the recorder, and I'm like watching you just beating up some guy in an alleyway, and you're like, there's some cat in a box or whatever, and it's like, oh, okay, this looks awesome, and you're like, it's Shenmue, it's the best game ever, and then before we could complete the review, we were canceled.
Yeah, that was a damn shame, because that was an incredible game, and it would have been a really cool review, and that was one of those first games where it was sort of like kind of open world, like a GTA almost, like how we see GTA now.
This box comes from John in Dublin. It's the ZX Spectrum. Waiting for a full review. Thank you, John. Love the rainbow. I'm sorry, the ZX Spectrum. I gotta watch myself. Here we have a European PlayStation 2 from Robert of Middlesbrough, UK, so I can finally enjoy Tourist Trophy. This is a Japanese Nintendo GameCube from Keenan of Woodland, Washington, for some Japanese GameCube games. Could have been Sega GT when you said, I like to be strapped to the bumper. Remember that? And whenever I do a driving game where they don't have a cockpit view, but you just get that crappy camera on the bumper, I just think of you going, I like to be strapped to the bumper.
It's funny, I still play that view now.
I don't know how you can do that. You can't see anything. Yes, good stuff. Now here's a sneak peek at what you can expect from the feature-length commentary track. Let's revisit Zaxxon for the Atari 2600. Moving on to the second video review in the film, here we see Future Mark once again in the background, who's clearly very confused. I mean, regular Mark is confused. This Mark is confused. I'm confused about a lot of things, but Future Mark is really confused. And if you watch the Future Mark footage carefully, you may notice that the Virtua Tennis logo on the headband rotates and flips up and down and moves around. Continuity is overrated. And here we have the original Classic Game Room HD intro sequence, which I created for the Zaxxon review in 2008. These are my game systems. Here's the old cheesy logo, ancient clip art, and the first Classic Game Room HD review that debuted on YouTube in February of 2008. The first official new Classic Game Room after the series was canceled in the year 2000. Shut down by the man.
Called Classic Game Room HD. What does the HD stand for? Well, certainly not high definition, because this show is a more relaxed version of Classic Game Room.
This is terrible. Mark, look towards the future. You can liven it up a bit, man. You can do it. Past Mark. 2008 Mark. Well, this was my first attempt at doing a solo review nearly 8 years after the original Classic Game Room series was shut down. A lot of people comment that my voice changed. It didn't change so much as I just figured out how to use it. And this is my first review after having directed documentaries for years. It was like 8 years after doing the original Classic Game Room series. And the least funny thing ever is someone who's not funny trying to be funny. And I thought the original Classic Game Room reviews were pretty funny because it was me and Dave bouncing jokes off of each other. We were young and inexperienced and didn't really care. Even if we weren't being funny to us, it felt like we were having fun, and that honesty totally came through on screen.
Great transition to the Atari 2600.
So me alone, sitting at a desk with a microphone, trying this for the first time, I just didn't have it. I had no one to bounce any jokes off of. And I wasn't really sure if this was actually going to take off or work anyway, so I gave an honest review of Zaxxon. Not a very entertaining one, but, you know, it's an interesting game. A neat game for the Atari. Doesn't really look like the arcade Zaxxon, that's for sure.
For altitude, it pretty much sucks.
The biggest thing I noticed, and the biggest thing I think viewers notice, is the sheer lack of confidence in my delivery, which is true. I went into it like a documentary where I tried to take personality out of it to make the information shine through, which is what you do in documentaries. But instead, over the years, I've completely flip-flopped that and just put the personality forward, even if it's a bad personality. Because for entertaining stuff like this, information is only as good as the delivery. The reviews have changed a lot since then, perhaps because I've played so much. Or maybe it's because I've played so much Truxton. That's science, right there. What a great game, and I actually almost tripped over the tripod while recording this, which I have done before, and I've just landed on my ass on that concrete floor in the warehouse, and it hurts like hell. I do not recommend doing that. So thank you to everyone who's backing the project. I hope that you enjoy the film. More than 4 hours, way more than 4 hours of Classic Game Room, and check out the Laser Hypervision box set for both of the CGR movies, including the original 2007 film and all of the discs with the cool artwork, so you can check that out on the Kickstarter page. I'm putting together the new mini posters for the final stretch goals for characters like Squid Trex and Mecha Monotremata, as well as the first look at one of the new Classic Game Room characters. I like driving games a lot, and I've managed to collect about 3 of them. Chase HQ and my most recent addition to the arcade, Turbo. Because everybody should have a steering wheel with the Sega logo on it. There's something I get asked all the time. Mark, can I see the back of the Zero Wing arcade machine? Actually, I don't think anyone's ever asked that before. Here's Frenzy. Thank you once again, and I'll see you right back here for many, many more reviews to come on Classic Game Room. Broadcasting high above New Jersey!
Trust me. Just listen to me, drink this, and everything will be fine.
Is this Dave 1999 Dave, or are we 2014?
I'm in a time warp.